Far away.
When you look at Michigan State, what are the biggest differences between their team last year and this year? Why are they playing better, aside from having a new coach?
Yeah, it's hard for me to tell, Kevin. I didn't think when we played them, they played all that bad last year. So they look like a good team this year. The one thing I was, without really looking at it, kind of unaware of is how veteran they are. I mean, they've got 9 seniors, they've got 7 juniors. I'm not saying that, you know, I think Torrey Krug's as good of a player as we have in our league, in particular for his position as a junior, I believe. I didn't realize they had that many seniors. So, you know, I just think that they're playing well. Now they're playing confident, as they should. They deserve that confident level. And they're going to be another really good opponent for us. But I can't really compare them to last year, not without knowing their team inside and out. And on tape, they were good last year, and they're good this year. So as far as we're concerned.
Looks like offensively they're a lot better.
Yeah, and again, it could be they've got more depth in scoring, and you know, it could be things like that. I don't know. I think that both of our games last year were I think a 2-0 and a 2-1 game or something like that. Obviously not very good, not very probably exciting games to watch, but they're a dangerous team. They're a pretty deep group up front. I mean, you know, you look down that lineup and you see names you recognize in all 4 lines, and you know, for us, the preparation is no different. We're not necessarily preparing for Michigan State as much as we are preparing to play another very difficult opponent in a tough place to play in our league, and that's the focus.
And then also it looks like Michigan State's getting involved a lot with.
Well, which that's not different. I mean,
Right.
you know, the Butteries, the Shelgrens, and then obviously Torrey, and that's just to name 3. They will get involved. You know, they're a group that there's some offensive guys on that in that group, but that's not different than what last year's group was. I don't remember it being just, you know, 5-man waves coming past us last year, but you know, we have to be aware as we forecheck and things like that, and as we challenge through the neutral zone, that any kind of turnover, any kind of miss assignment on a forecheck or whatever, it's going to end up in them taking off. And those D are going to jump into play all day, and then, you know, they help in the power play, and it's going to be challenging for us to kind of contain them. And again, I'm not really sure if that's our focus as much as it is getting back to executing and competing and all the things we want to do, taking care of our own game.
And that leads to my next question. Your focus this week is worrying about yourself and getting back to the way you were playing.
Yeah. You know, obviously last weekend, results-wise, wasn't very good. You break down the games, the process both nights wasn't very good. Different reasons. You know, Saturday night's lack of discipline obviously is something that we've talked about and people have talked about, and that's something that we'll address and continue to address. But, you know, today's practice was like a normal Tuesday, and the focus is executing, the focus is competing hard, the focus is competing and executing at a very high level, and getting better. That was our focus. We continue to have discussions as a program, as a team, as a family about this big picture plan, and how can we continue to take positive things out of every day, whether that day we lose a game, that day we don't play a game, whatever it may be. And we have to find a way to do that. And we as coaches, have to lead the way with that. Obviously, there's people outside looking in there questioning what's going on, because the results say that that's what you do, you question. And that's okay. What we can't do internally is we can't question the big picture plan and the focus of every day we need to get better that day. What aren't we real good at right now? Our execution at times isn't very good, no matter what that is. With the puck, without the puck, decisions to hit somebody at a certain time or not, around their net, whatever it may be. And we haven't competed at a high enough level for us. That's something I think you can control. So we get the process better, we get the focus on competing better, and then you start to give yourself a better chance to get the results you're looking for. That's what our focus this week was. it wasn't as much Michigan State as it was Bowling Green. You know, and again, that's not taking anything away from Michigan State. That's no different than the Notre Dame week or the Miami week or the Alaska week. We have to find a way to continue to move forward in a situation that may say not a whole lot of good's going on there. That's not true. That's not true at all. There's lots of good going on. And we just, until we get the results we want, we have to find other ways to measure that good. If that makes sense.
How about the mental state of the team? I mean, they're still in this.
Well, you know, from what I'm seeing and what we're seeing, yes, absolutely, 100%. Now, if you were to ask each individual guy, maybe he gives you a different answer, but that's not what his actions say. Today's practice was as intense as the first Tuesday we had, or the Tuesday after we split with Lake Superior on the road. There's no other way to address it as far as we're concerned in this situation. Again, the big picture record, 2 games under 500, whatever. The league record, not very good. The league results at home, not very good. Okay, so what do we do today? And their focus today was good. We you know, talked about our D zone, talked about our neutral zone forecheck, talked about our offensive zone forecheck, all the things that we usually talk about. Yesterday was more of the let's have a chat as a program. Where are we? This is the open forum to say, I don't get it, coach. You're telling us to do this and we're doing it and it's not paying off, but because we're constantly saying it is paying off. It is paying off. You have to believe that individually. We have to believe that collectively. So I don't think anybody is at any level of I've checked out. And I think that's getting to this time of year, that's a focus of any program, winning or not winning. That, okay, you're getting down to the short strokes before the Christmas break. They're still young guys. They're guys that I think enjoy that 7 to 10 days off. You want to finish that first half as hard as you started it. And again, we're focusing on less on results, and we're focusing more on process, executing the small little details of our game. And I feel like today's practice was no different than any other day. We were able to get away from this past weekend, talk about it yesterday, close the book on it, focus on this weekend, and then and ultimately today, which is what they did.
Knowing that Pi was here Saturday night and the Pi reviews all major penalties, have Watawa and Carpenter been cleared from supplemental discipline?
Internally or externally?
No, externally.
Nothing has been said to me otherwise.
Okay.
You know, we've reviewed Cam's case in particular and decided that you know, the punishment was what he served is sufficient, and Carp's penalty was I think questionable is fair to say at best, whether it was even a penalty. But you deal with what you get, and I don't think there was no disqualification on the plays, and I don't think there's been any supplementary discipline on either situation. At least by Tuesday, I would have expected to know, and we have heard nothing about that.
That was my next question. By the end today, you would have expected that.
Absolutely, absolutely, because our focus is now, again, we're preparing for next weekend, and both of them are involved in those preparations.
Any definitive word on Brett Moeller and his injury, how long he might be out?
No, there's not. You know, again, the Christmas break is coming at a decent time for him in particular to get some of those days off, but there's still 4 games in between now and then, and they're very important games for us. Based on where Brett is today, you know, I think it's Christmas break earliest, so we'll see.
And any decision on why Galloway's surgery, no surgery?
No decision. Again, I feel like we've been patient. The boy has been extremely patient, and to his credit. He deserves an answer now. We want an answer. What's going on? What's the best course of attack? And let's do it. And we still feel like he's going to be involved with us in the second half of the season. So.
With face-offs, I think you're at 50% this year and up from 45 last year. What do you see as the difference? Is it just?
I think it's I think it's overall our team buying into the fact that face-offs are a huge process piece in a game. We use it as one of our 12 objectives. We've used 55% as our number. That's game in and game out. That's a pretty good number. Last year we used 60, and obviously we weren't close to it last year. So we want to make those goals and those objectives real and obtainable. So the 55 number seems to be very real, and even on nights where we don't think we're great, we're right around 50%. I just feel it's been a focus for a year and a bit now, and the guys realize how important it is that we're on the positive side of the face-offs, and no matter what the situation is. And I think they've done a good job of buying into it. Individually, guys have done a great job of using extra ice time, open ice time, whatever you call it, to work on their face-offs. But it isn't, face-offs to us isn't a one versus one, it's a 5 versus 5. And I think our guys have bought into that pretty good.
That's all, yeah.
Okay.
Anybody else?
I'm good.
All right, Coach, thank you very much.